Yes, ladies and gentlemen, bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. I am your host, Khristian Dentley, and this, this is the good stuff, baby. Oh my gosh, y'all. I got the best job in the world. I have the best job in the world. I get to interview people who I have had on like my Mount Rushmore all my life. The people that I get to have conversations with, it is just incredible. And the insight that they pour into us each and every week is bar none the best thing in the world. I love it. I love it. I love it. And today is absolutely no exception. This gentleman that I have the privilege, the honor of conversing with today, I have listened to and have been influenced by his work since I was a kid. And it's one thing, so people say never meet your heroes. They say don't meet your heroes because a lot of times the people that you meet and you have on certain pedestals or idolized for those, for some people, you meet them and they're like complete jerks. They're just like, oh my God, I wish I would have never. But this guy totally superseded any expectation I might have had of any kind of microcosm of who I thought that he was in real life, in person, as a friend. He superseded all of that, and he is the most generous, the most thoughtful, creative, altruistic, giving person who makes it his life's goal to basically put people in positions to win. And that is in music. That's just in life, period. We're going to get into it, but his musical genius spans generations, ladies and gentlemen. His music right now is being heard all over the world, even as we speak. I am absolutely positively sure of that. But you'll understand exactly why I'm so excited about this conversation after we get started. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Good Stuff Podcast, my good friend, Mr. Tom Brooks, the one and only. Oh,
brother,
my guy, the air hug, brother. Oh,
bro, hug across the country, man.
That's right.
So great to be with you today,
man.
Brother.
Listen, I mean everything that I said. Your heart is solid gold, man. 24 karat magic gold, bro. And I'm honored to have this conversation.
Thank you for that. I just gotta reflect the glory up to God. It's just an amazing musical journey that God's allowed us to be on. And it's like way cooler than we could have ever imagined on our own. You know, when we're little kids and we're thinking ninth inning up at the plate with the bases loaded, God's saying, forget that. I got a plan for your life that's way better than you could ever cook up.
It's way bigger.
That's what we're doing.
It's way bigger than Game 7 in the NBA playoffs, down by 2 points. 3, 2.
I got two free throws to win the game, man.
Oh, you hitting that?
God says, forget that. Yes. I got something way better than that.
Isn't that amazing how he does that? Now, was that the story for you personally? Like what were your aspirations when you started getting into music? Did you dream of having plaques that are covering your entire wall and Grammys and number ones and all this other kind of, was that the dream?
Yeah, honestly, not even remotely. I mean, when I got into music, so I was into music before I became a believer. And I mean, the reason I sense, even before I was a believer, I sensed that my life was being led is because I never made a conscious decision, or I never woke up one day and said, ooh, I have a dream to be whatever. I just kind of fell in love with music, or I mean, it was God that put a love for music in my heart. We had a piano in our house, and I was always at the piano. You know, my brother and sister had their piano lessons, and I'd be sitting upstairs at like 5 years old, and like I'm listening, and then the teacher leaves, and I'd go down and pick out the tunes.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I've just been doing music before I can ever remember. And God sort of took that music and he began to accumulate some technology. I had the 4-track TAC 3340 tape recorder, and I had a good mic. And then like the Christian people around me sort of said, hey, could you bring that into our church? Because we'd love to record our worship.
Oh, wow.
So all of a sudden I'm in a church environment hearing these amazing, inspiring people. And then it's kind of like, wow, we got to fix this piano part. So, well, I can help you out with that. yeah, like God's just sort of
Man.
pulled me into it. It wasn't. It was never any kind of dream of mine at all.
Wow, man. That's pretty inspirational too, because like there are some people who, they're just kind of teetering this line of really not knowing, what it is, and they just happen upon this gift, just happen upon this incredible,
Yeah.
this advantage. And that was definitely for you. For some people, have to go through lessons and da da da, but for you to come downstairs and pick it out yourself, that's an advantage, and that's pretty
Well,
cool.
yeah, I kind of I learned music theory from the Beatles primarily and Stevie
Come
Wonder.
on,
Those were
baby.
my music theory teachers. Like every cool chord that I know, every great substitution chord I know, I kind of learned from Stevie,
Wow.
honestly.
Wow.
And Superstition comes on the radio, and it's like, hold on a minute, I got to figure out what that pre-chorus chord is because that's not, yeah, it's not major.
Yeah,
No, no, it is. But 7 flat 5. Wow, can you do that?
man.
I guess you can. Log it.
Log it. Log it. You can do it.
Yeah.
It's like Brendan. That's like
Sharp 9 chord right before the title,
right,
right?
right, right. Like Jacob Collier. It's like all the stuff
Stop the
breaking all
band
the
for the
rules.
tom fill for the title of the song. That's it, man. Log it.
Log it, man. And so all of that created the you that I've grown to love. I mean,
Oh,
listening to God is able, listening to the
yeah.
lift him up. I mean, when you did, by the time you got to ah that, oh my gosh, I love it. And the sound choices, hallowed be your name,
Tell you what,
hallowed
that is
be
still a
your
beautiful song,
name.
man.
That right there, dude. Your moves, dude. Just like I love it. I love it. And it's just being able to grow up in an environment where I had
You just got me, man.
oh, you got to well, we'll do some more later. Shoot. I got some stories. I got some
Yeah,
stories to say.
right on.
But just being in an environment, bro, I can remember. I'm not gonna get emotional, but I remember um being listening to this music, specifically, specifically the Ron Canoli years, and loving everything I heard from, oh yeah.
I got a new Ron Canoli song right back there,
Are you
man, that,
serious?
we're about to release.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
I gotta have him on the podcast next. Gotta talk about it. We gotta have both. Gotta
I'll hook you up,
hook me
man.
up.
Ron would be great on
Oh,
this
he would
one.
be amazing.
Are you in?
I'm
You're
I'm
in
I'm in
Florida, right?
Orlando. He's right down the street, I think.
He is right down the
Yeah,
street,
man. So
man.
just listening to that
Yeah.
music, and my parents pastored in South Carolina, and growing up and listening to, I mean, every Sunday morning, not even just Sunday morning. That was the cool thing. It was during the week. We didn't have a Sunday go to church mentality. That we learned to love God
Mm,
early. We loved to learn him on
right.
Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. And I wasn't one of those pastors' kids who didn't want to go to
Yeah.
church. I loved being in the house of the Lord,
Oh,
and my dad being a,
yeah.
a pianist and on organ as well as the pastor, and my brother playing the drums. We would listen to every tongue in heaven and earth shout your glory, every knee shall bow at your throne in worship. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just when you got don't even start with me with can't stop praising his name and all this other kind of stuff, which was amazing. But think about this, bro. As a as
Yeah.
a 9-year-old, 10-year-old kid, you know and a song comes on that stops me in my tracks. A song
Yeah.
comes on that it's not fast, it's not up tempo, but it's not, like I see the Lord, I see the Lord exalted high upon the worship of the people of the earth. I see the Lord. And bro, that song, I remember being after my parents divorced, because they ended up going through divorce and church split and all this other kind of stuff. And dad moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. Bro,
Mhm.
we would watch that DVD. That it wasn't DVD then, it actually was a VHS. And when you guys went into that whole worship set, by the time it got to I
Yeah.
See the Lord, I'm a 9-year-old kid bawling my eyes out,
Yeah.
wanting to see him. You were a part of that,
Yeah.
bro. You were a
Yeah.
major part of that. So when we talk about you being a part of that, let's talk about how you got into music production and how it ended up connecting you with all these people to do these great things that you've done.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'd love to tell that. Just while you're right there, though, I got to do a little bit of a detour. So, I See the Lord was a moment that, obviously, as I'm arranging all these records, I'm literally sitting down at my piano, and like we did a new album with integrity every 8 weeks,
Wow.
literally start to finish in 8 weeks.
What?
And every time I'm sitting down at the piano, just going, God, right now I got nothing. I got a big old blank sheet, but I've only got 8 weeks. What are we doing here? And but here we go. So
Crazy.
we're all of this preparation, all of this setup. I'm flying all these guys in for this recording, and charts prepared, orchestrations prepared, and we're in a just so happens for that recording we're in a venue that turns out to be a union venue,
Oh,
not taking one side or the other, but typically, we got lots of church volunteers doing the ushers, doing the this, doing the that, helping us just move equipment in and out. And it's kind of like, no,
wow.
nobody's picking up anything. Nobody's this concert is not happening.
Mm.
No. And this is like we're sound checking. This is hours before the downbeat, to the point where we thought, well, we've gone all this far, and it's like it looks like we're shut down. And literally, I had my friend, so Abraham Laboriel was like my locked in brother, and we just kind of looked at each other, and I picked up all the score, like all of our charts, and he did the same. And we went out to center stage, and like all the musicians kind of did the same. And we literally set them in a pile in the middle of this circle of musicians and singers. And we just prayed, God, like if you want to send a lightning bolt from heaven and just like set fire to all of our plans and all of our preparations, like right now, all of our planning and all of our preparations are looking like they're worthless. We blew it somewhere along the way, but we're still trusting that we're pretty sure that we heard from you. Like, but so in other words, like whatever your plan is, God, we want that rather than ours.
Yeah.
We're willing to just like turn ours into ash.
Wow.
And within a few minutes, the guy came up to me, and I still to this day don't know really how or why, but it's like we came to an agreement. We're going to open the doors and let all the people in. We're doing it.
Wow.
So, so that is the setup that we're going into that music and that song, right? So at that moment, I mean, I'd kind of talked to Abraham about giving him a moment at the beginning of that,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you know what I'm saying? Like that's the mindset. Like we're playing through this music, going like, "Are we even doing this? I thought we were not doing this."
Wow.
And it's like the preparation was all in there, the songs were all in there, the music was all in there, but yeah, we had this almost like otherworldly feeling of we're just like floating on some plan of God,
Man.
because our plan just sort of
Wow.
went
Just
up in
just
smoke.
evaporated. I mean,
So
it's
that
crazy.
song, yeah, that song to me still, when you start playing that, I'm back to that situation where apart from God, this is not happening. Never would have even,
You,
you wouldn't even know the song.
and for those who that haven't heard it, because the words are significant, right? Uh,
Yeah.
I see the Lord. I see the Lord exalted high upon the worship of the people of the earth. I see the Lord. I see the Lord. Mine eyes have seen the King, Lamb upon the throne, who reigns forevermore. And what's so cool is you say, I see the Lord, exalted high upon the worship of the people of the earth. So even in that moment,
Mhm.
God was exalted on your worship. And worship actually, according to the scripture, is not a slow song. Worship is obedience. Like Abraham said
Right.
to his wife, me and the lad are gonna go and worship, and then we'll be back. And that worship, man, I'm gonna obey what God told me to do. When you guys
Yeah.
took those that music, those charts, and you laid it in the center stage and offered that, it's not even that you missed anything. It was that it's funny because I remember there's a story in the Bible, like I remember, but there's a story in the Bible where like I was there, right? Yeah, I remember this one time Jesus when we was walking in Capernaum.
What's that? Me and
Me and
Jesus,
Jesus
we
was
were
walking,
walking.
and remember Peter. That's like, man, but in the Bible, there was a guy that was blind, and the disciples came to Jesus, and they were like, "Yo, Jesus, which who sinned so that this man was born blind? Was it his mama's side of the family, or was his daddy's side of the
Yeah.
family?" And Jesus said, "Neither one. This was done so that the glory of my Father would be made manifest." I think
Mm.
that all of the things that you guys ran into, all of those roadblocks, and with the this, that, and the third, and I'm not moving this, and I'm not touching that, we're not opening doors, or whatever. All of those things happen
Yeah.
not because somebody missed, but it's so that God can be made glorified in the middle of that.
Right.
It's taking our will,
Boy.
our agenda, and laying it down before Him and saying, God, you can literally strike this, set it on fire, and we'll go home
Yeah.
now. But if this is what you want,
Right.
glorify yourself. And that's what He was. He was exalted high upon the worship.
Right on,
And
man.
I needed that. Bro, I needed that
Yeah.
song. I needed that concert. I needed that record. I needed those arrangements, those
Yeah.
charts. And I'm glad that it happened the way that it did, because sometimes, bro, and sometimes
Yeah.
we can get so used to and accustomed to doing things and knowing what to do in these situations. We can get so
Yeah.
accustomed to our, like what worked before.
Right on.
We can get so, all right, we
Right.
go to the this, we go to the that. After this song, we go into that one. Bop, 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 bop. These are the charts.
Yeah.
They're gonna come in here, and we got this thing dialed in. And then
You're
God
so
can
right,
come in and
man.
say, psych, you know, you know, it's like nothing's working. Okay, Lord, what do you want us to
Yeah.
do? Exactly what you just did. I
Man, no, you're absolutely right, and it's just being human. Yeah, it's like, "Oh, man, that song was so great last week. Let's do it exactly in that same place, in that same way."
yeah.
Yeah, we're just such messed up humans, you know?
Yeah, that's how we do. It's like if it works, like your
Yeah.
favorite team, it's like, okay, what did I do when they won that game? Oh, that's right. I
Yeah.
didn't. That's right. I
Yeah.
forgot to take a shower, so I'm not gonna wash again. And my
Yeah.
drawers was inside
I
out, so I'm gonna flip my drawers again. And
yeah,
that's not
yeah.
how this
I
works.
I I had my blue
I have a
kicks on
blue-
that game. I have to put those on again, right?
put the same clothes on.
Yeah.
Everybody's sitting. How were we sitting? No, no. Look at the picture. It's like that's not how this
Yeah, get
works.
back, get back.
That's not how God is.
No, man.
He will blow our plans to smithereens just to show us that we always need
Yeah.
Him. No matter how good you think you
Yeah,
got
I
it,
mean,
you need Him.
just the way you just described that is absolutely the truth. Because God, uh, I think it's a scripture, like, where it talks about Him being like a jealous
Right.
God. Not in the way we think of jealous, but jealous in the sense that I really think He wanted to get into the action that night. Now, of course, I can say that afterward because he didn't let us fall on our face. I mean, if that concert wouldn't have gone on, I would have just wasted a huge amount of money and all the time and effort and travel of all my friends, all these musicians. But he wasn't about to let us down, you know. But I think he just wanted to be in there. He wanted to make it really clear to us that you make room for me. I'm going to join you on the stage, man. I'm going to take all those preparations and I'm going to just go nuclear with them,
I love
you
that.
know. And we all walked away from that. I mean, just for one, just kind of shell shocked, blown away. But just like we learned a humongous lesson about the heart of God that night.
Man, let me ask you this: has there ever been a road that on in adversely that you were going down and you recognized that, okay, he's actually not in this. We need to, you know what? Let's just pack it up because he's not he ain't with us. That's we
Wow. Uh,
because the reason why I asked that is because sometimes we
yeah.
try to force fit. Um, it's like, we submit our
Mhm.
plans. The Bible says, submit, or commit your plans to Him, and He will cause your plans to be established and succeed. And then there's another scripture that says that God will give you the desires of your heart. And sometimes what we're bringing to Him is actually what we want, and actually not what
Mm,
He wants. And so we've gone all the way down the line with this thing, or it could be like a song or something like that. It's like we get all the way, and then
yeah.
all right, I got this whole big idea, and you present it to the execs, and they're like, "Yeah, no, we don't want that." It's like,
Eh,
what?
well, yeah, I guess not exactly, but I mean the closest thing I can think of is a situation where this is a while ago, but I mean the I don't really know the full fruit of this particular one that I'm going to tell you about. But whereas just like I See the Lord, that the album that was on, that concert, I mean, within 3 or 4 hours, we were still going, wow, I got a hand picture lesson in terms of how big God is. But we did an event around 2000 called the American Worship Gathering. And this was an idea that I'm still convinced to this day there was a God idea. But we went to the Washington Monument
Mm.
in Washington, D.C. And it was at a time where, uh, the country was in kind of a wacky state. It was actually in 2001. This wasn't too long after the Twin
Oh,
Towers.
wow. Wow.
And my pastor had just come out with, well, he hadn't even come out with it yet, the Purpose Driven Life
Oh,
book,
yeah.
Rick Warren's book. But he had the thoughts of it. I mean, it was kind of already written, but not out yet. So I just had this idea of the American Worship Gathering. That was what it was called. And I brought in kind of like everybody. I had Abe and the band, all the greats, Paul Jackson, uh, Sheila was
Oh,
there, Sheila
wow.
E., our buddy. Um, and a bunch of people from Saddleback Church, from our church, were there. And I had Rick Warren was there. And I had the people from the Columbine
Mm.
uh, shooting were there, the
Wow.
survivors telling their story.
Wow.
So, I mean, literally with the Washington Monument in the background. Now, this is a national park, so there's a whole lot of red tape you got to go to for that. I think my budget literally for the required number of, not to get gross, but there's a required number of porta potties, right?
Yeah.
You got to have to do an event in a park, and it's kind of like I could have put one of my kids through college on that
Oh
budget
my
alone,
goodness. Just
right?
for the porta potties?
Yeah. But anyway, all that to say, and it was a live broadcast, and John Tesh was kind of the radio guy.
Wow.
It was nuts, but but because I had all these artists from all these different record companies, like on the front side, everybody's like, "Yeah, let's do this. We're all in. Lock arms, hands in, boom." And then when it was finished, they're all like, well, we're not really going to support that because you got that artist on it. And why would we, support that? Because he's not even our. Yeah. So I went through all of that with my own
Oh my
checkbook.
gosh.
And at the end of the day, it was kind of like nobody would distribute it because it was just artists from too many different like locations. So, yeah, that would be one of those that am I convinced that God told me to do it? Yeah. Did I learn a bunch of practical lessons? Yeah, maybe the hard way.
Wow, yeah.
Um, but when I listened to the music from it, uh, pretty amazing,
Man.
right? And it was like 6 hours, it was like a big old Sunday afternoon in the park there. But yeah, that was one that I came away from going, like a little bit different story from God coming through, like with
Wow.
yeah. So, but I guess my walk away was I'm still convinced that I did the right thing, God, and I don't know where you're going with this, but I'm okay. You know, like uh,
Wow.
not super. I can't say I'm walking away quite like I did from I See the Lord,
Right, right.
but yeah. So that's probably the closest answer to your
That's actually
question.
encouraging to me,
But
and I'm gonna tell you why. It's specifically encouraging to me coming from you because I
yeah,
have a similar story when we did the Take Six Join the Band record recording, the concert.
hmm
Same kind of
right,
situation. I just felt
yeah,
like God was calling me to breathe new life into the group, and to do
yeah,
something where, my favorite Take Six records, hands down, is the Join the Band record. I mean, that's with Stevie on it and
yeah.
Herbie and all these guys. I mean, I just love that record. Queen
Ridiculous, man.
Latifah, and I was just it's insane. And because
Yeah,
I'm a musician, I wasn't an acapella head growing up. I'm a musician, as you can tell, right? So
yeah,
when they took the wall of sound and genius that they are, combined it with these world class musicians, it's like, what on earth? This is
yeah,
untoppable. It's untoppable.
mm,
They can do anything, and so I wanted to kind of recreate that in a sense that breathes a new life
right,
and bring my boys in, my band that I rock with, and take
yeah,
these Take Six arrangements and redo them and and yours was the first call I made to find a place where this could sit, right? And
mhm,
you were all in. You gave us a place to rehearse. I
yeah,
will never forget that. You hooked me up with the guy who did the video. It's Campus Jacks, all of the above. Dude,
yeah,
you poured into me. You gave me everything that I needed, that I didn't have to make that happen. And we sold out that event, which was
it was epic,
it was
man.
incredible. And
Yeah,
still to this day, that's like one of my absolute favorite things that I've ever put my hand on to do. But it's like,
yeah,
now what? It's like it didn't, I felt like
yeah,
it didn't materialize, kind of like what you're saying, like you did all of that, and there were
right,
no distributors to say, okay, we'll take this and that. Either was, whatever. But
yeah,
it seems as though the fruit of it wasn't realized or materialized like you thought.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I hear you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I still feel like that album you're talking about, absolute gem of a record, and just the concept in the you look at the arc of Take Six, which is just already absolutely phenomenal. That was like like a rocket launcher
Man.
level, yeah, to the next orbit, and, yeah, I mean, I still feel like that's one of those projects that somebody just needs to grab and just put another rocket booster
Yeah.
under. Because if people would hear that, it would just blow their
I'm telling
minds.
you. And if nothing else, like to your point, if nothing else, to be able to look back and say, man, God gave me the grace to do that. And we didn't
Yeah,
lose.
yeah,
We sold out, and I got
yeah.
to the Lord gave me, the reward really of my diligence, and gave me a great friend to help me put that together. Not
Yeah,
so you've been
yeah.
that dude, bro. You have been that dude. And I appreciate that.
Well, I honestly, I gotta say, just as an aside, that's one of the things I love about you so much is that you came into a situation that was already fantastic. Like, they could have just, like, pull out the rocking chairs and call it a deal right there, and you just, like, totally launched that into a next level situation. So just the energy you brought to, uh, I've I've been in love with Alvin's voice from
Yeah,
the
man.
first time he said hello.
Right. Since he came out of the womb. Wah,
Yeah,
wah.
yeah, exactly, exactly. But yeah, I mean, just the energy and the musical life you brought into that
Man.
group, just I love it,
Bro,
man.
thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
Next
I'm gonna
question.
high five you for
Hey,
that.
there it is,
Thanks.
brother. So next question for me is, how was the transition out of, if there was a transition out of you doing the production on the level that you were then, to being the
Mhm.
incredible asset that you are where you are at CBU? Like, what was that like?
Yeah, well, right. Well, I mean, so every 8 weeks, we were going to a new church and recording a new album, right? Did that for like 15 years straight. And the thing that we started finding, so, I'm rolling into a city, into like a big kind of anchor church in that city that already has a bunch of great musicians in it. And I'm bringing in Abraham Laboriel and Chester Thompson, or maybe Vinnie Colaiuta and Paul Jackson Jr. and Justo Almario and Alex Acuna, Sheila. And, the obvious thing is, guys, is there any way you could come a couple of days early, and not just for our own church musicians, but let's gather the church musicians from all over town and let's just hang with you guys. Let's do some things together. Let's break out and send the drummers, with Alex or Vinny or Sheila or Chester. Right? So all of a sudden we're finding ourselves in a kind of a sort of a hangway, but then pretty quickly we got into, well, we should really give them some stuff they can walk away with, So that kind of turned into a little bit of more of a class than just a hang,
Wow.
right? And then it's like kind of starting to feel like almost like a bit of a curriculum. Okay, we got 6 hours. Like, what are we really going to give them that's going to make a difference in their lives? And so we're kind of doing one of these every 8 weeks, really. And after a while, it's like, okay, yeah, like we get to spend a day with these guys, or maybe like a day and a half. That's not a lot, man. I mean, we're just barely scratching the surface. So yeah, as I'm talking to people and I'm meeting people, I started a contemporary worship department at a university. So I'm bringing in the same guys, and we're kind of starting from the same place.
Wow.
And all of a sudden that program grew like crazy. Simultaneously, we were starting to do a lot of work in Seoul, South Korea.
Oh, wow.
Random.
Wow.
And set up a thing called the Institute of Worship Arts at a huge university in Seoul, South Korea. So we had that going simultaneously. Wow. And I flew the guys over there. And this was literally 2 weeks after 9/11.
Wow, man.
Great time to be flying to South Korea,
Thanks.
right? And we brought everybody to that one. Morris Chapman was on that one, Ron Canoli, and Abraham, Justo, Sheila, Chester. And literally we performed at the Olympic Stadium.
Wow.
And then the next day we went to the DMZ and we did a worship concert 10 feet from the border.
Wow.
Like the guys with the Uzis are standing like, so I'm telling everybody, okay, maybe we can't walk across the border, but we can send our praise across.
Come on, Tom.
And yeah, so before you know it, I mean, like we've created this university program. Just again, like it's not like we dreamed it up. God just kind of prepared us, and that's really what I'm doing here at CBU right now, is the extension of all of those workshops, and I'm still bringing in all those same guys, and just putting the students in contact with these mentor people that, I mean, you can get information a lot of places these days, right? You can sit in your PJs on YouTube and get lots of information. It's about way more than, there's information and there's inspiration. And I think the magic bullet from God is the inspiration part.